welcome to another episode of Time Out with Derek and Joe. For Joe Azalina, I am Derek Cano. Thank you for taking time out of your day to spend some time with us. Today, we are rounding up our positional rankings, and we started months ago now, and we are finally finishing it up with outfielders. Now, Joe and I decided to do something a little different. Since there are obviously three outfield positions, we're going to do a top 15 outfielders list. So this one's going to be a little longer, but we are doing it in a different style. We are going to be playing a little blind resume. So the blind resume is going to be from the years, obviously, we haven't been through too many games this year. Very shortened season last year. So we're combining 2019, 2020, and so far 2021 stats. They're going to show up on the screen for those listening. We're going to read them out. And then we are going to try to very briefly guess who that player is. And then we're going to show the player. And then we're going to give each of our rankings for that player. Joe, without further ado, let's get it going. Blind resume style, Joe. As I said, stats include 2019 to 2021. Stats are as of Sunday, being yesterday, May 23rd. Our first up, games 223, at bats 786, runs 174, average of 295, on base percentage 431, home runs 70, RBIs 168, and stolen bases 14. Joe, we kind of spoiled it for ourselves already, but that one is none other than
Mike
Trout. So
yes,
I think it kind of goes without saying here, Joe. He is the best player in all of baseball. I would be extremely shocked if he is not your number one on your list. But Mike Trout, when you look at the stats, does anything really jump out at you there? And what are your thoughts on Mike Trout?
well, I was looking at to be honest, and you'll probably laugh at this because I really was thinking about maybe putting him at 2, but when I thought about it more and more, he's hard to put at 2. He has one of the best overall. If you look at stats in baseball overall, and it shows you right there what Derek just read, but he always does everything the right way. He just does. He plays the game hard. He has incredible talent. He has won multiple MVPs, as I made sure I knew exactly how many it was. He has won the MVP over 3 times, right?
3 times, yeah.
Yeah, 3 times. He is from Millville, New Jersey, which a lot of us in Philly land would love to see him play for the Phillies one day. He's a huge Eagles and Phillies fan. But he's an Anaheim Angel, has been that for his career, 29 years of age. I will say this. When he came on the scene, Derek, I just didn't. He's a generational player. That's who Mike Trout is. And you asked about stats. I looked at a few, but you look at this year, he's already hitting 333, 18 RBIs. Like, that's all you got to know. The guy just gets on base at a crazy clip. His career, though, in 11 years and only played for one team, he's came to the plate 5,000 times. That's a lot of times, Derek, for 11 years. He actually has, now it sounds crazy, but he's shy of 900 RBIs. He's got 816. That's still really good. He's walked 865 times. Like, that's amazing. Great eye. There's just so much you can say about the man. But for a lot of years to come, I think we're going to talk about him. And I hope he finally plays. And this is the thing we have to remember. He's never played in a World Series. So I think I'll leave it at that. Mike Trout, though, definitely the best player in baseball.
Mike Trout is probably primed. I think that's safe to say, to hit 500 home runs. He's already at 310. Joe, he's just He doesn't really have too many weaknesses. I know I've
Right.
read if there he had one weakness, it was the high fastball. But I know this year so far he's hitting something like 367 against the high fastball. So there goes that.
It's not a weakness, Derek.
Um, yeah, 8-time All Star, 8-time Silver Slugger. Yeah, he's just the most talented player in baseball. I do wonder about the stolen bases, but then again, he is getting a little. He's 29 now, so he's not really stealing as much as he did in the beginning of his career when he had 49, 33 when he was 20 and
Right.
21. But it doesn't really matter. Joe, am I safe to say that he is number one outfielder on your list? Correct.
Even though I changed it, yes, he is. He's number
Okay.
one today. Yes, yes.
Moving on to our next blind resume here, Joe. Do you want to read out the stats for us?
Absolutely. I'm interested about this one, by the way. I've had a hard time with trying to figure out 2 through 5.
They're mixed up.
202 games played. Well, now I'm really going to be confused. Okay. 202 games played, 734 bats, 147 runs, an average of 292, base percentage of a 407, home runs at 56. This tends to be, I think, someone younger. I'll read the two. The home runs jumped out at me it could be a younger player. RBIs 121 and stolen bases at 37. So
I don't even know these for the record. I had the girlfriend switch up the the numbers here, so I don't
Thank
even
you,
know.
Lindsay.
Go ahead, Joe. What's your guess?
Wow, this is tough. It's not a lot of stolen bases, and the home runs aren't that many. I'm gonna guess Whit Merrifield.
Ooh, I think Merrifield is way over the stolen bases there.
Okay.
I think
Fair
this
point.
one is. Ooh, I think it's Soto. No, Soto might have a higher average. Who is it?
That's
Christian Yelich. It is.
Oh,
So
okay.
Christian Yelich for the Milwaukee Brewers, Joe. Obviously won the MVP. I think it was in 2019. I'm going to just double check in just a few seconds here, but he struggled a little last year and he struggled so far this year. He's been injured, but Christian Yelich
A
is
lot.
definitely one of the best outfielders in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Christian Yelich, a former Miami Marlin. He went before JT Realmuto did, and after Marcelo Ozuna, drafted by the Marlins in the first round. He was a 23rd pick of the 2010 draft from Westlake High School in Oaks, California, Thousand Oaks, California. That's a very athlete-rich high school. Christian Yelich is very, very, very interesting because he's not like the prototypical. Yeah, he's like the greatest player, but Christian Yelich is so good when it comes to certain things. He can hit the ball very well. He can hit for power and average. He's very good arm. Like I wouldn't say he's an awesome base runner, stolen base guy. He's not. We saw 37 stolen bases isn't that many. But he's a guy that you can plug in the lineup because he's usually pretty durable. I can't say that this year, but he gives you a lot. His attributes are really something. And I will say that before I kick it back to you, Derek, I will say that Christian Yelich is, when I look at career stats for him, played 5 years in Miami, 4 years in Milwaukee. A thing that jumps out is that he had so far in a decent career, 9 years, 9 years, 233 RBIs is pretty good for a player that sometimes he hits at the top of the lineup, so he's not getting the RBI opportunities of a middle of the order guy, right? He's hitting 2 usually. Right?
Yeah. He seems to be around 2-3 for the Brewers lately, at least.
He actually, if I just can say one more thing here, he is another guy that you would look at as saying that maybe he plays finally in a World Series at some point in his career. He hasn't done it yet. So look out for that. Even if it's not Milwaukee, maybe it's in an American League team going for that trades for him down the line. He has a lot of baseball left. And Derek, do you want me to tell you where he is on my list?
Yes, go ahead.
This is going to create a little controversy, I feel like. I have him down at number 5.
That is okay. That's okay. And I think when we so by the way, everyone, we came together to create these the rankings, the top 15. We came together with both of our lists and we kind of decided on 15. We're going to name a couple that are at the end that are not on the list that just were left off, but
Teamwork, Derek.
there were
Teamwork.
seven guys who I said they're top tier. I mean, there's Mike Trout, and so I guess there's their second tier is about 6 guys. He's one of them. Joe, here's the stat. He's the only player in MLB history to have 2 seasons with at least a 325 batting average, 30 home runs, and 20 stolen
Wow.
bases.
He's
And
a
that
30-30.
was
Yeah.
2018, 2019, 2018, he won the MVP. 2019, he came in second for the MVP. Yeah, now last year he hit 205 and he still has a
Struggling.
career average of 296. So
That's telling you something.
he's going to find his way back this year. I hope, for those that missed the our overview of the MLB season. I believe I picked Christian Yelich to be my NL MVP, so I hope that he turns it around a little bit here. But
You need to stay healthy, Derek.
yeah, and great duo in Burns and Woodruff there in Milwaukee. They
Got
have a
some
lot of
pitching.
young
Yeah.
talent. They brought in people like Jackie Bradley and Keston Hira's there, and so they have a lot of talent. It's just let's see if they can win that Central. But Christian Yelich is by far one of the best outfielders. I have him actually at number 6.
Okay.
So a little bit lower than you even, but I still recognize him to be a very good player. Joe, moving on. Here is our next blind resume. Games 229, at bats 808, runs 170, average of 297, on base percentage of 419, home runs 51, RBIs 163, stolen bases 19. Again, these stats include 219 through 2021. Joe, what are your thoughts on who this might be?
All right. Well, that on base percentage is pretty high. The average is high, and even the at bats are very high. So this is going to be somebody that's probably been in the league for a little while, I would say. I'm going to go with Derek. This might be Juan Soto.
I think it is too. I think it is too. He hasn't been in that long, but they have pretty similar stats. For those that want to go Yelich to Soto, I think this is him. Yes, it is. It's Juan Soto.
Good job, Derek. We got one.
Joe, do you want to start us off with Soto?
Yeah, sure. Derek, as you know, being a Phillies fan, I see a lot of this guy. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, I think it was Bryce Harper that commented before he left for Philly. He said, this kid is going to be the real deal. And, looking at Soto, he just has an idea of how to go up there and work in a bat. He might not end up being a home run guy in his career. He might not end up being, even a great average guy. I mean, this is a pretty good average. But, and Derek, by the way, he doesn't come up very easily on Baseball Reference, by the way. Oh, there he is. Okay. I'll tell you, he's still scary. You don't want him up in the end of the game if you're another team. Lefty bat, 22 years of age, from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. He was he's only been in the league for like 2 years, and he's arbitration eligible in about a year now. Soto, he can hurt you. I think that's the thing about Juan Soto. He can hit a fastball. He has a great eye, Derek. I don't know if you ever saw him when he stretches out and he looks at the pitcher. That pisses off pitchers, by the way. He's just that type of player that maybe not of course, not a Mike Trout, But Juan Soto, I feel like, is going to become a very pivotal player in baseball because and he's already gotten a lot of recognition. He can play the outfield pretty well. He's got an interesting team with Washington right now. They're not really. They brought a couple veterans in. They don't have a lot of young guys. Him and Trey Turner was make him go, but you don't want to see him in a big spot. You just don't. And the other thing is, fans, you don't want to see him with a righty on the mound. You'd rather see him as a lefty because Soto is a good lefty, lefty bat. So, Derek, I'll kick it to you to see what you think about this gentleman.
Joe, he's going to be one of the best hitters in baseball for a very long time. Just the ease with which he swings and how easy it is for him to take pitches, like you said, that are right borderline, but he knows that he can see that they're not strikes. And that's on base percentage last year, shortened season, but was 490. 490 was his on base percentage. It's only brought down by his on base percentage this year of 393. That's why you see 419 on there. But
Still good.
he hit 351 and on base 490 last year, man. He's going to be a very, very good hitter in that lineup. Hopefully he ships out in a couple of years on that rookie contract, so you don't have to see him as much anymore. And but Juan Soto, they're going to be building around him for a long time. I'm trying to think of a comp for Juan Soto. I mean, is he almost like Ted Williams like that? Ted Williams wasn't a huge home run guy, hit for a great average, lefty swinger.
Yeah.
That might be a little high, but I don't know if it'll be.
You think Tony Gwynn,
Ted Williams type?
maybe?
I think
not
he has
as
more
many
power
hits
than
Gwynn.
him.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking lefty outfielder. Yeah, exactly.
Where do you I have him ranked? I have him at number 4. Do I have Juan Soto right now?
All right. Well, I got him higher.
Have him higher. Yeah.
I got him at 2, and he almost went to. I got him at 2, Derek.
Wow. No, I'm not. I have no issues with that. I had a lot of trouble with 2, 3, and 4.
Hard, Derek.
You could really go with any of those 3, but let us know what your thoughts are. Where you have Juan Soto at.
Talk to us.
Moving on to the next blind resume. Joe, do you want to read that out for us?
I got you. All right. So games played 177. At bats 683. Runs scored 136. Average 283. On base percentage 375. Home runs 55. RBIs 131, and this man does not steal bases with only 8.
No.
So
I think that might be the easiest stat to pull out. Like you can look at our list and see who isn't.
Well, on base percentage and average are interesting because this is a guy that looks like he gets probably good hits, maybe doubles, maybe he hits some home runs, but Derek, I want to hear what you have to say. What do you think
Someone
it is?
who does, and he doesn't play that. He's been a little injured the past 3 years, only barely over a full season, 177. Right. I'm thinking it's either Bellinger or Judge.
All right, I was actually thinking
I'm gonna say Judge because obviously he has his injury problems. But let's go ahead.
Oh, it's Springer.
George Springer. Wow, he's only had 8 stolen bases. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. I think of him as a stolen base guy.
But he was in Houston and he did other things for that team. So, George Springer.
Okay. Yeah, so George Springer obviously been the leadoff for so many years for the Houston Astros, came to Toronto on a big deal. I'm just going to look this up now. That it was 6 years, $150 million. He signed through 2026, and he has played 4 games so far for them. But Joe, I mean, he's someone who's going to bat leadoff for you, so you're going to see a lot of those at bats. Unfortunately, he hasn't played a lot this season. He only played 122 games in 2019. So that's why these numbers are a little skewed. But for some reason, I thought of him as a lot more of a base stealer. He really is not. He's never had more. He's had one double-digit stolen bases season, and that was in 2015. Um, but you think of George Springer, he's someone who can make it 1-0 right off the bat. And that's
Yeah.
that's not what you like to see from the first guy that's coming up who can just knock it right out of the park. 39 homers in 2019, 34, 2017, 29 in 2016. Uh, Joe, Toronto has a great hitter, a great leadoff hitter for a lot of years now. He is 31 years old, so I'll be interested to see where both of us have him. So this would be, think of this as starting this immediate moment. These are our ranks of where we want these guys moving forward. But Joe, let us know your thoughts on George Springer.
All right. So well, first of all, it's shocking because I with you, I thought it was Judge.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
home runs, though, the home runs I question though about Judge because he has hit a bunch of home runs. So anyway,
true.
all right. So George Springer, this guy was so sought after in the offseason, right? I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was the Astros, it was the Blue Jays, the Mets were involved. He's from New Britain, Connecticut, which people need to know. That was another reason the Red Sox were even involved after losing out on Bradley. Um, Derek, do you know this? He was drafted by the Minnesota Twins in the 48th round. Holy smokes. And this guy is one of the guys, and Derek, I will spoil it. He's in my top 10. So
Yes.
48th round. I was like, oh wow. Very, very good player, very good defensively, very good with the bat. Like you said, he can turn around a fastball. He was so huge in the Astros. He's a World Series winner. Um, there's not a lot you don't like about him. I mean, he plays in a lot of games. I mean, look at this.
When healthy.
19. Yeah, because he played in almost 600 games in 19. And then the years before that, he played in over 600. So I love the player. I had no trouble ranking him where I did. And I'll tell you right now, George Springer for me is ranked number 7.
Number 7. Okay, I have him number 8. So
Okay.
I think he was after that top 7 that I talked about, although you may have screwed up my top 7 because if you have him in the 7, I didn't have him there. I have him right after that top group of outfielders.
Right.
But and that maybe that is because he's getting a little up in age and some of these guys are still very young.
True.
But yeah, so George Springer, I have him. Did I say I have him at number 8? Number 8. Do I have George Springer? So
Derek, we were stumped on that one.
yeah, I not looking good. So obviously, I don't know who is coming up here. This kind of proves I haven't got one right yet.
This is fun.
Our next one, is it my turn, Joe, or is it your turn?
I think it is
it's
your
mine.
turn. I think it's your turn. Yep.
Number of games 216, at bats 790, runs 156, average 285, on base percentage 280 or 384, home runs 59, RBIs 147, and stolen bases 21. Joe, what do you think? Are you crossing off the names as we go here so we don't
I'm check marking them.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
All right. So this is interesting because 216 games isn't a lot, right? That's not a lot of games. I look at the runs and the average though, and that seems to me that they could be a person at the top of an order because they're 156 runs is a lot and the average almost 300. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Charlie Blackmon on this one.
So, by the way, if they played every game in 2019, 2020, and so far in 2021, they'd be at about 265, 270 around there. So he missed some games.
Yeah.
I don't think Judge hits that well. Does he? I don't think he hits that well enough for average.
No,
I
and the
don't think
home
he
run.
gets that many stolen bases either. I think this is Cody Bellinger. What was your guess?
I
You
said
guess
Charlie
Blackman? I
Blackman.
don't think Blackman steals that many bases anymore. I'm going to go with Cody Bellinger, the
Okay.
first baseman turned outfielder. Ah, I got one. All
Oh,
right.
Derek, good
It's
job.
Cody Bellinger, Joe. As I
Wow.
said, I found it very interesting that he just moved from first base to outfield without skipping any sort of a beat. He's a great outfielder. You saw in the postseason last year when they made that World Series run. But Cody Bellinger, I think, is also still in that top tier, Joe. I don't know how often you get to see Cody Bellinger, but what are your thoughts?
Well, it's funny because that picture, I think, the picture that you put up in the background, Derek, is Citizens Bank Park, because I recognize the
Yeah,
scoreboard.
okay. Yeah, it might be. I think this might be a young picture, but that's fine.
Yeah, he
My
looks
bad.
young there. Listen, this guy is phenomenal. I still love the commercial of him and Yelich. I think we've talked about that off the air before, where they have the commercial of both of them because they're two of the more rising stars in baseball. Um, he wasn't even talked about in the Cole Hamels deal where I wanted him or Lux because it sounded good back then. Um, he's a fourth round pick out of the 13 draft out of Hamilton High School in Chandler, Arizona. He's now 21 years. I'm sorry, he made his debut at 21 years old.
Mhm.
He's arbitration eligible already next year, which is interesting. And I don't think the Dodgers will let him get away. He is he is probably one of the best guys. If again you want to get an RBI in, I mean, he's got almost 200 already in his young career, Derek. He's only played 5 years. He will be one of the most famous Dodgers, I think, of all time.
Hmm.
He's so good. He's good at everything he does. He has such great athleticism in the outfield. He's a heck of a first baseman, as you said, when he played there. I,
Yeah.
I love this player. And he's got a great left-handed stroke, swinging the bat. I don't want to. It's honestly hilarious where I have him because I don't have him that high. I put
Uh-oh.
him at number 6 behind
Oh,
Yelich, but
okay.
I did it because I love the commercial. so, so
Um,
anyway, that's where I have Bellinger.
Now obviously he won an MVP in 2019. He was the reason why Christian Yelich didn't get that MVP award in 2019
Took it
that we
away from him.
mentioned.
Yeah.
47 homers, 115 RBIs, 15 stolen bases, and he hit 305. Um, for those that don't know, on base OPS is on base plus slugging. His 1.397 OPS in April of 2019 was the best opening month OPS by any player in the last 100 plus years. So it's safe to say he may be one who sticks around in Los Angeles. You might be right. And if he's there for a long time,
Oh my
what could
God.
be almost 15 more years, he's going to put up some stats. And he won a Gold Glove while he was a first baseman, so he's out in the outfield. So and he's very good out there too. Yes, so I have Cody Bellinger as number 5. So we're kind of pretty
Oh,
similar in
okay.
most of the
Yeah.
guys so far.
Yeah.
But Cody Bellinger, number 5 outfielder for me. Joe, you want to take us on with the next one?
So the next resume is gonna be 173 games played. At bats is 632. That's a lot of at bats. Runs scored 121, average 278, OBP 379, home runs 48,
Ooh.
RBIs 102, and Derek, the stat that we love, 3 stolen bases.
Now
Okay.
I will say so, Joe. This is pretty much one season worth of stats. I don't this at bats is not that many. Um,
Right.
173 games. That's barely over a season. Wow. Well, it's
So this
not
is
those
somebody that
two.
also,
It's not him. This is probably someone towards the bottom of this list.
yeah,
Not
I
going to be
agree with
any
you
of
there.
those. Not going to be him. I think he hits more. Uh,
You know what?
man,
I think I know who it is.
who was your guess?
I think it's my original guess. I think this is Charlie Blackman. His
Charlie
RBIs look
Blackman?
just.
I, I
I think it's
think
Charlie
I think
Blackman.
Charlie Blackman hits for a better average than that. That's the only thing because he doesn't steal
Oh,
bases. I think
well,
this
do
might
you
be
think
Aaron Judge. I think it
it
might be
might be?
Aaron Judge.
I think you got Derek. I
The
think you're gonna get two in
48
a row
home
right there.
the 48 home runs is throwing me off, but I
I
think that's
know that
around what
that's a
his
tough number.
average is. He doesn't steal bases. And
It's Aaron
Aaron
Judge.
Judge. It
Derek,
is
he's
Aaron
on
Judge.
fire.
Um that I'm gonna look up those his stats in his early seasons, but he he can't stay healthy anytime soon
No, no,
recently, and I guess
always
that's
hurt.
what's going to be keeping him lower on my list, on our both of our lists, I'm sure.
Yeah,
uh I
yeah.
have him as my MVP candidate in this season, so I will say, but
Gotta
Joe,
stay healthy like Yelich.
you still can't throw any bad pitches to Aaron Judge. He's still one of the best hitters while he's out there, right?
Oh yeah, Aaron Judge is one of the guys that like he makes the Yankees go. He usually hits in the two, usually the two slot, whether it's behind
I
Hicks or
could
Gardner.
I could be wrong, Yankees fans. You prove me wrong. I might be, but I don't watch him that much. But I feel like when Judge goes, the offense goes. When Judge struggles, the offense seems to struggle. I could be wrong,
He's the
but
guy.
that's
No,
just
he's the
what my
guy.
thoughts are.
Yeah, and a 6'7", 282 pounder, you think that would be the case, right? I mean, the guy is
Yeah.
a specimen. Um, I watched the draft that year that they drafted him, and I think he was from a prestigious college, if I'm not mistaken. I have it in front of me here. He was drafted from Linden High School in California, and he actually, yes, he was drafted out of California State University in Fresno, California. Listen, he was drafted in the mid first round. I said, nope. I said, the Yankees took him for a reason. They took him because they knew they wanted him to be a home run guy, an RBI guy. I mean, Derek, he's already scored a lot of runs in his young career. Um, but this guy, I don't know. I mean, he's a good player, but to me, he doesn't walk a lot. He's feast or famine. He hits home runs, he drives in runs, he does not walk a lot. And I think Aaron Judge, and he needs to be on the field more, like we said. Um, I I can't wait to hear if you have any more to say about him, but I will say this: he is the number 10th guy on my list.
I'll tell you, I am higher than that, but and
Okay. Okay.
that's strictly, but it's been a while. It's in 20. It hasn't been since 2017 that he had over 500 at bats. That he had, well, technically over 414 at bats. The last time he had that was in 2017. But Joe, that was when he had 52 home runs, 114 RBIs. He also struck out 208 times.
Yeah.
I believe that's when I saw him in the I think, or was that the next year? I don't remember that. I saw him in the home run derby. Shout out Phil
Oh yeah.
Angle. We went down and saw him in Miami in the when it was him and Giancarlo Stanton down there. That was pretty fun to watch. Um,
Oh wow,
but
you were actually there.
yes, and at the home run derby, yeah. Oh no,
That's
way
awesome.
up at the stands. It
That's
was
awesome,
no
though.
chance of us getting anything, but it was very
That's
fun
so cool.
experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, long story short, if he can stay healthy, he is one of the most talented players in Major League Baseball. It's just that he can't. 112 games in 2018, 102 in 2019. Last year, out of 60, he played 28. He's good so far. 44, I think. What they've played around 50 games, maybe. So he's been
Yeah,
healthy
that's about
so
right.
far. So my
Yep.
hope is he stays healthy. Um,
Yep.
he's also the
Definitely.
tallest player in Major League
Yeah,
history to hit 50 home runs. So
that's amazing.
I have Aaron Judge, my number 9. I have as number
Oh,
9. So
oh,
right
gotcha.
behind Springer. So um,
Gotcha.
we'll see if he can jump up that list. If he can stay healthy, I think he definitely can.
So talented. You said it. Just a talented guy. Oh boy.
Moving on, our next
Oh,
blind resume
oh boy.
here. In terms of games, we have 244. Now, remember, around 265, 270 is a full season or a full 3 seasons. At bats, 939,
Oh, wow.
210 runs, average of 275, on base percentage of 376, 70 home runs, 161 RBIs, and 51 stolen bases. This has to be one of our top tier guys. These are
I was
some
gonna say
pretty huge stats.
there's some hefty
August
numbers.
1st, man, it's got to be one of those three. I don't think he steals that many bases. Give me Acuna Jr. I think
I was
this
gonna
is
say this.
Acuna
I was gonna say
Jr.
the same. I was gonna say the same thing.
Okay.
Especially
And
the
that it
stolen
is.
bases.
It
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
Ronald
Makes
Acuna
sense.
Jr. Go ahead, Joe. You see him probably another guy
Go.
who you see way too often. Um,
Yeah.
but he is legitimate 40-40 almost. I mean, probably more 40-30, but
He's
top of
unbelievable.
that Braves lineup, he's become unbelievable.
Yeah. He's impressive. I mean, there's no doubt about it. 23 years of age and from Venezuela. Um, I will say this right now because I want to get it out of the way. I can do without the antics. I can do without the showboating.
Yeah, I know you
He's
hate
just a
that.
little. He really don't like that much. But you know what? He's got talent. There's just no doubt about it. He's fast. He he is kind of the like you would say he's got four tools because he can run, throw, hit. But I just wonder sometimes if he doesn't like he's base running lax sometimes because he doesn't use his common sense. I'll be honest. He's lackadaisical sometimes in the outfield. So he gets lazy. He basically really is like a poor man's Bobby Abreu when it comes to like how he approaches the game sometimes. Because Bobby Abreu used to be like that. He used to not always run for balls. He used to be tough on the base pass. Like that would be, I think, a good comparison. If you don't agree with me out there, audience, please let us know in our comment section. But that's my opinion there. I will say this, Derek. If there's one guy I fear in the Braves lineup, it isn't just Freddie Freeman. It's this man right here. Because he just knows how to swing the bat. Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to be heard from for many years, whether I like it or not. And it he's just a very talented baseball player. And I'll say this, I would have loved to watch him as he got older because coming out of Venezuela where there's nothing, good for him. I'm sure he's made a lot of his dreams come true. And I'm sure he's got more dreams he's got, in his back pocket there. And, I just don't want to see him win a World Series, if I'm honest.
Bad news is he is pretty much signed through 2028.
Yeah, that's a
So
long
that's
time.
pretty much
8 years. Oh my
he'll be
God.
there.
Yeah, mainstay.
He's also the only player in MLB history to post at least 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in his first 2 MLB seasons. Obviously,
That's impressive.
2019, that was his all-star season when he had 41 homers, 101 RBIs, and 37 stolen bases. Not the best average in comparison to some of these other guys, but
Right.
it seems. I mean, he's a better George. Well, I can't even.
No.
But George Springer.
No.
I thought George Springer was actually, honestly, a better stolen base guy because he steals a lot more bases. Acuna.
Derek, where do you have him? Because I got to ask you because I'm dying because I think I have him wrong, actually. I probably shouldn't have him where I have him.
I told you I had a issue between Acuna, Soto, and then most people can
Another
probably
guy.
think of who the last guy is.
Yeah.
But for number 2, I put him at number 3. I put him at number 3 above
Oh,
Soto. It's
oh,
very close, very close.
I put Acuna at 3 too.
Oh, you did, but you have
Probably
Soto
because
at
of my
2.
bias. Probably because of my biasness, though.
why is I mean we're kind of splitting hairs here, but why do you have Soto above Acuna? Is there any particular reason or?
Yeah, you're gonna laugh because I like the Nationals more than I like the Braves.
Well, okay.
I mean, no, I listen. Soto and Acuna are different players, and I think it's just
Yeah.
hard if because I didn't always go by the numbers. I went by what I remember and what I usually see, and I've seen these guys way too much, like you said, 28 times a season, sometimes more. Um, but honestly, I've seen Soto live. Actually, I've seen Soto
Yeah.
or no, I'm sorry, I've seen Acuna live. I see Soto live in actually 2 weeks, but Derek, the way Acuna hits a baseball is just the sound it makes is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Soto is just really, I think he's just fun to watch. And he's just not as cocky.
And hey, I mean, maybe not so much are they based on our rankings in the past here, but maybe, if you're building a team,
Right.
Joe, you
Yes.
don't want maybe you don't want the what Acuna brings to the table as opposed to what
Right.
Soto's going to bring to the table
Right.
in terms
Very
of off
fair.
the field. So, who the heck knows? But number
Yep.
3 for
Yep.
me is Acuna Jr. On to our next blind resume, Joe. Here we go.
Okay. 243 games, 971 at bats, 207 runs scored, 200, a 288 average, on base percentage of 381, home runs right at 50, RBIs at 135, and the stolen bases a little higher at 31.
Hmm.
All right, I have an idea here. I think I know who this is, but I'm not
What's your
so
guess? Go
sure.
ahead.
Man, those stolen bases are high though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a higher. The home runs and the on base percentage, along with the average, is screaming out to me, Michael Conforto.
Hmm.
But right, I mean, doesn't it make sense? He gets on base a lot. His average. I mean, or can I say Blackman again? I don't know if it's
No, no,
Blackman. It's not
I don't.
Blackman.
I don't think Harper steals that many
No,
bases.
no. The
Um.
only other name I'll give you is Michael Brantley.
It's I know it. I know it's not Brantley.
Okay,
I think
okay.
that's a good. Let's go with Conforto. I think that's a good one.
You like that?
Wow, it is Mookie Betts.
Oh,
Wow, I thought he
oh,
would have been a
holy
lot
cow!
higher. Interesting.
Oh my
Um,
lord! Wow.
obviously, Boston fans are probably still sad that about
Not
how
happy.
that ended and how he left because, and I know he's not on Joe's list, but on most lists, he is number 2 or 3 in baseball. So, um, Joe, do you want to talk to us about Mookie Betts and he helped them Los Angeles get a championship last year?
He did. I love to say that one of my best friends is a Red Sox fan, and he is so mad about that they got rid of him. But they're in first place, so Hein Bloom's done something right. Well, anyway, Mookie Betts. He was the 5th round pick from the Red Sox in the 2011 amateur draft from Overton High School in Nashville, Tennessee. Um, he then debuted 3 years later at 21, and he's been nothing but spectacular. And Derek, I will defend myself. I just thought that if I would have done anything, I would have moved Acuna to 4, and I thought that was not right. So I could have went Betts to 2 and Soto to 4. You said it, it's splitting hairs. He's a
Yeah.
heck of a baseball player. You're talking about a former MVP. You're talking about a guy that could win it again. He's just on the wrong team to probably win it again because there's so many guys there that could win
Yeah.
it, right? I mean, it's tough. But Mookie Betts is to baseball what, like, you could probably say, maybe I wouldn't say LeBron, but Antetokounmpo is in the NBA. I mean, he's a heck of a baseball player. He's a heck of an athlete. He's got a great arm. Um, he got a great World Series last year and playoffs. There's not much else I can say except for I have him at 4.
He's also he has 5 Gold Gloves, so we
Oh,
don't
well, there you go.
have those
There you go.
stats on here, but he's a great defensive player as well, always playing right
Right.
field. Um, his stats were a little higher in Boston. You might Although he had 16 home runs last year, and that was only in 55 games, so that would have been
Right, and that's
probably
impressive.
close to 40 home runs. Um, yeah, 2018 when he won his MVP, he hit 346, 32 homers, 80 RBIs, and 30 stolen bases. Um, yeah, I said it's Mike Trout, but then you could throw out any one of I would say it's the next three: Soto, Betts, and Acuna. They're probably the next tier. But they're any interchangeable, all of them. A great
Yeah.
player is Mookie Betts. A great leader on the team too, and he stays healthy. You see all those at bats. But Joe, you have him at
He's number 4 for me.
number 4. Okay. I have him at number 2. I had him above Cunha and
And that's
Soto. So
fair.
you had
That's
him below
absolutely
Cunha.
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
We're close though.
feel free to let us know in the
Yeah.
comments, where do you think Mookie Betts is?
We want to hear from you. Bring it
It's
on.
pretty tough. So it looks like we kind of ran through our top guys for the most part, but let's
This is
keep
going
it
to get
going
hard,
here.
Derek. This is
Yes,
going
it
to get
is.
difficult now.
I think you're up, right? Or am
Oh,
I
no,
up?
I just read. I think I read
Okay.
him. Yeah, I read Mookie. Yeah.
253 games, 898 at bats, 164 runs, a 264 average. That is not very good.
No.
A 386 on base percentage, 55 home runs, 160 RBIs, 27 stolen bases. Again, these are stats from 2019 through the current standings, current date 2021. Boy, oh boy.
This is a difficult one. I mean, what stands out to me is you said the average is very interesting, but I'm telling you right now, it's not Bryce Harper because he didn't steal 27 bases. But
Oh,
the average would be around.
that was going to be my guess because
I know. I just don't see him stealing that many bases. Plus, I mean, the home runs, I guess, are about where he is. He does have a lot of it. I mean, maybe it is him. You know what?
I
I'll go
think
with
it
it.
is.
I don't. If it's not him, it's like Marcelo Ozuna. Then I would say that too.
Oh, well, there's no way Azuna has 27 stolen
No.
bases.
Oh yeah, I guess not. I guess it wouldn't be him. I
I
thought it
think it's got to
Merrifield
be
too.
Bryce.
Okay.
That it
Yeah,
is,
it is.
Bryce
You're right.
Harper.
You're
Uh,
right. Yeah, the
Go ahead,
OBP makes
Joe.
sense. Oh
Lead
boy.
us off.
Well, this one isn't hard to talk about because 2 years ago I almost fell in the shower when I heard that we signed him. So the Phils signed him, I should say. My favorite team, of course.
Right.
Listen, Bryce Harper, Derek, I argue this all the time. He's not a superstar. He's a very good baseball player. He's going to get you RBIs. His average is always in the middle, right? We see it here, 264. His on base percentage is pretty good. He walks a lot, Derek. If you ever watch a Bryce Harper bat, it's something to see because he'll go 0-2 and he'll go 3-2 in a minute. Like that's how good of an eye he has. He hits the home runs. The stolen bases are higher than I thought they were. That's why I was a little kind of skeptical on him. You were right on.
They
Good
are
job by you.
correct. I had to double check. They are correct. He had
For
15 in
people
2019.
for people that don't know, this is a former catcher we're talking about. He's a former catcher back in the day. A pretty good right fielder, better than I ever thought. But he plays the game with reckless abandon, and whether that's good or bad, in a city like Philadelphia, you have to play the game hard. I always had said if he came to Philly, he would be like Chase Utley. He is like Chase Utley. He plays the game very hard. The one thing that's going to be Bryce's downfall, I think he plays the game too hard because he has always is injured as he's out again 2 days in a row for a sore shoulder. No fault to his own. He got hit in the face a couple weeks ago. That's a whole different story. A Genesis Cabrera, thank you very much. I just want to say this. As much as it pains me to say this, he may never win a World Series in Philadelphia. He just might not do it. He might have came at the worst time because they just have not put enough around him. Because he can't be the guy he cannot be the guy that just leads you. He has to have other supporting cast members. He doesn't have that right now. I'll stop there and say that he is number 9 on my list, though. I got him in the top 10.
Um, I think he has the disadvantage of a lot of people comparing him to Mike Trout because they were back to back number ones, right?
It's a
Um,
great point. That's an absolute great point by you.
and I think that's very unfair. He has had a great career so far. Um, but no, it's not as good as Mike Trout. But Mike
No,
Trout,
no.
as you said in the beginning, is a once in generational talent, perhaps.
Yeah.
Um, but he had his MVP season 2015, 42 homers, 99 RBIs, 460 on base percentage. Did you know in his 1.148 on base plus slugging with runners in scoring position in 2019 was the best by a Phillies player since Michael Jack Schmidt in
Wow.
1981. So
Wow.
yeah, and yeah, will he get one? Who the heck knows? But I'm sure Philly fans would not be disappointed
No.
that he got there so far. Obviously, nothing yet, but he has until 2031 to get one. So now Bryce Harper, actually, I have him higher than you do. I have him at number 7.
Oh, I
I
love it,
have him.
Derek.
I have him above. I questioned those 3 there. I had Bryce Harper, George Springer, Aaron Judge. I wasn't sure
Right.
who I wanted to move there. I
They're
have
all
Bryce
they're all
Harper
very
above all of
similar
them.
players too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all very similar players. Springer's won a World Series. The other 2 haven't. So,
So we are down to 6.
Oh
6
boy,
players
the
left,
final
and for me,
6.
they're kind of at the bottom. So
All
go ahead, Joe.
right. 209 games played for this player. The at bats are 825. Runs scored 148. Average is up at 292. On base percentage is 347. Home runs is 31. RBIs is 117. And stolen bases are 38. Okay, I think I got it. But
Yep,
you
I
let
know
me.
this, and this one may be a questionable one for some people. He probably is towards the bottom of our rankings, but Starling Marte, is that your guess?
Uh,
Oh,
it
you're thinking
actually,
somebody
it
else.
actually, it actually, it actually wasn't. It actually wasn't. I
Okay,
won't lie to you. I,
I think it's
I,
Starling Marte.
well, that average is really high now that I look at it. Games played though, Derek, has thrown me off because that's not a lot of games played,
Um,
right?
yeah,
209.
he hasn't played a ton this year. That definitely cut it out of his number. Well,
Would
let
I be
me bring it
crazy?
up here.
Would I
Yes,
be?
it is. It is Starling
Oh,
Marte.
it is. I was gonna say Merrifield. I just talked to Merrifield. Okay. All right.
So Starling Marte,
Good job, Derek.
I couldn't. It was so difficult, by the way, to find a picture of this guy that fit where I needed to put it, and in a Marlins uniform. It was ridiculous. I was seeing
Well, Derek,
Pirates uniforms. I was seeing
the
Diamondbacks,
yeah, he's
all
been
over the
around.
place. But
The
yeah,
graphics
Starling
look great, by
Marte,
the way.
a recent Marlins pickup. Obviously helped them to make the playoffs last year, Joe. And in Pittsburgh, he was always, I mean, he stole a lot more bases in Pittsburgh than he
Right.
is
He was
right now
fast.
anymore. He had
Yeah.
upwards of 30 and 40 stolen bases to go along with 15 to 20 home runs. But a great player is Starling Marte. Some people may not have them in his top 15. He was one of our last ones that we brought in. But what are your thoughts on Marte, Joe?
Well, the bottom line is he's a guy that can go out and get the ball. He's a very good defensive center fielder.
Yeah.
Um, he's also a guy that, and he's from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic again. He to me, when I look at him, he's been pretty durable over his career. He's played 10
Yeah.
years. He played with three teams, 8 years of Pittsburgh, 2 years now in Miami, and a year in Arizona. Derek, he's played in 1,029 games. That's incredible. Um, he has he has 1,129 hits. He gets a lot of hits. He's not a flashy player. He's just a very good baseball player.
No.
Um, he played with McCutcheon, I know, in Pittsburgh. That was a
Hmm.
1-2 punch they had back a couple of years ago now.
And
Yeah,
there they both go. Poor Pittsburgh,
yeah, right,
both
exactly.
gone.
Glass now, and Cole too. By the way,
Oh
those two
yeah,
other
yeah.
guys. Oh my gosh. Um, but yeah, you look at his numbers; they're not like. Would you just call him like above average? I mean, he's good, but he's not like. You know what I mean? Like, I
Well,
mean, well, where do you have him, Derek? I'll ask you that.
so I can't say slightly above average because why would he be in our top 15, right? So,
Well,
um,
true.
I mean, you look at so I'm looking at his 162 game average, 18 homers, 72 RBIs, 40 stolen bases, 287 average. I don't think he's a leadoff hitter anymore, but as a number two, he is amazing contact. He'll get on base. He has a little bit of power in him too, and I like the defensive presence that he brings, like you said. Um, yeah, it's he could be anywhere probably from like 13 or 14 all the way down to maybe like 25 that people could have him. It
Right.
just so happens both of us had him on our list, I believe, and I
Yeah.
have him right towards the bottom there, number 14. Um, what about you, Joe?
I have him at 15, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So right towards the bottom. Let us know
Right.
if you think that he doesn't belong. Maybe another name that we bring up towards the end here, we or another name at the very end that was left off our list, you think might belong. But we came up with Starling Marte. So Joe, I believe I'm up here. So that would be 241 games for our next blind resume, 939 at bats, 159 runs, average of 301. I already know where it is. 359 on base percentage, 41 home runs, 151 RBIs, and four. Oh, maybe I don't know what it is. Four
Mm,
stolen bases. It could be one of
this
two.
could, yeah, this could be Blackman.
Could be Blackman or Azuna, I think, but I don't know if Azuna would have that many at bats. So I think
Well,
it is
yeah,
Blackman.
I think it's Blackman too.
There he
Yep, there
is,
he is, the
Charlie
bearded one.
Blackman. Go ahead, Joe. Start us off with Charlie Blackman, who I'm
Well,
sure will be making his way out of Colorado at some point.
well, I first want to say that I love when they do the song they do for him when he comes up to the plate. You know the song they do? They do a
What is
song
that?
and
I
then
don't know.
oh no, I can't remember the name of it. I
Ah,
might have to. It's one of those things that goes with his like his waka music, and they all scream it with him. It's pretty funny. Um, yeah, we'll have to Google it later. Well, anyway, Charlie Blackman is one of those guys that he, I don't know, he's just a baseball player, right? I know that sounds really cliche, but he just
he looks
is
like a
like.
baseball player.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you look at him and he just exudes baseball. I don't know. I feel that way about him. Anyway, just a little bit about him. He's actually from Dallas, Texas. He was drafted by the Marlins in the 28th round of the '04 MLB amateur draft from North Gwinnett High School in Suwanee, Georgia. Um, Phil E, please correct me if I pronounce that name wrong because I know he lives there now in Georgia. So don't be afraid to comment on that. Um, but anyway, he's just Derek. I feel like this guy always hits. He's a hitter. He's a very good hitter, left-handed bat.
301. There
But
you
I
go.
mean, right? I mean, 41 homers the last couple years. Um, I you look at the numbers from even last year, he had 42 RBIs. The year before, he had 86 RBIs. Um, I think of he's been in the 11 years with Colorado. It would be kind of a shame to see him leave, but he's not going to win there. So if he wants to win, he'll probably ask to leave.
Yeah.
He sees that his buddy Arenado go. Story's going to head out probably. So, Derek, I actually have him at number 12.
Um, his stolen bases have really, although I guess he only had what now that I see it, one really good stolen base. He had 43 in 2015. 2014, he had 28. But then besides that, 17, 14, 12, 7, and he had one last year and 5 in 2019. Um, or no, that was caught stealing 5. He only had 2 in 2019. Um, yeah, Joe, he's probably at the downslide of his career. I still think he is a top 15 outfielder. Because you said he can hit for average, and that's something that a lot of these guys can't do. And
Right.
still gives you a lot of home runs. How many of it is due to playing Coors Field? You never really know until they
True.
leave. But not the best defensive outfielder, even though I believe no, he doesn't have a Gold Glove. But yeah, he's not a very good defensive outfielder. But I have Charlie Blackman as number 13, right above Starling
Okay.
Marte.
Gotcha.
So yeah, right towards the bottom there. So we have 4 to go on our list. Go ahead and read out our next blind resume, Joe.
234 games played. Excuse me. 907 at bats. 137 runs scored. An average of 309. On base percentage of 367. Home runs at 30. RBIs at 126. And stolen bases at 5.
Hmm.
Well, the at bats jump out a lot at me.
Yeah,
The average is very high, and the home runs are interesting.
I have 2 names of the 4.
Derek, I think it's Michael Brantley.
I think it is too. Yes, it is. Michael Brantley, someone who, for the record, I don't know if he would have been in my top 15, but Joe loves Michael Brantley, so we had to put him in. It's no spoiler, I have him at number 15. I don't quite see him as a top 15 outfielder. But Joe, convince us why Michael Brantley is a top 15 outfielder.
All right, I listen. I do like him a lot. I thought he did a great job. He kind of wasn't as good as he was really good in Houston. I was gonna say Cleveland was kind of like his like he had to grow up. He just wasn't. Derek baseball references drive me
I think
crazy.
he had some injury problems in Cleveland, if I do recall. Yeah,
Yeah,
he had a game of a year of 90 games played, 11 games played,
yeah,
72. So yeah.
yeah, and I think that when he got to Houston, he had those guys Springer and he had Bregman and he had Correa. It helped him, and he's 34 now from Bellevue, Washington, picked in the 7th round of the amateur draft from Fort Pierce Central High School in Fort Pierce, Florida. That's where he's from. I love doing that because I feel like I'm part of the draft when they do that. I love that. Anyway, no, but he's that guy that, and again, he's been on two different teams now. Okay,
Hmm.
only 2 teams, but his numbers they're interesting. 90 RBIs is hard to do. That was 19. In that year, Derek, he had 40 doubles and 22 home runs. That's a pretty good bat. Like, he's a pretty good hitter right there. Um, then in last year, he had 22 RBIs, 5 home runs in the shortened season. But Derek, he also came up and hit at 300. This guy's hit at 300 almost 5 years in a row now. I
Hmm.
just think he's a guy that you can plug in the lineup. You know what you're going to get from him. Yeah, I was screaming in the offseason, let's get him for the outfield. That didn't happen. But Derek, Michael Brantley is 11 on my list. Probably a little too.
Now, I wasn't sure. He definitely he plays the outfield still. He doesn't play that much DH. I thought he was more of a
Right.
DH than he actually is. Um, yeah, there's something to be said about his consistency, right? I mean, and you kind of reiterated 299 2017, 309 2018, 311 in 2019, 300 in 2020, and now he's hitting 305. So from a guy 34 years old now, from a guy who's 34 years old in a lineup with a lot of guys who younger hitters who could strike out a lot, the Bregmans, the Jordan Alvarez, and Correas of the world. It's good to have someone like Bregman who you know is going to put contact to the ball. Not amazing stats, but he's someone who is needed. And if they would have lost him after losing Springer and now having Brantley, if he almost left, that would have been not good for Houston, I think. But yes, I have Michael Brantley as number 15. I think I may have one of those extra guys I may have put ahead of him, but I know Joe loves Michael Brantley, so we'll
Appreciate
throw him
that,
on.
Derek.
3 to
All
go
right.
here.
Is
Are
this
you
my
up?
turn now, right?
No, I think
Yeah.
it's mine.
Oh, okay.
239 games, 864 at bats, 140 runs. Average is 269. On base percentage is 373. Home runs 44. RBIs 136. Stolen bases 10.
Derek, the RBIs, home runs, and average scream Marcell Ozuna.
Man, I thought he would have had more than 44. But it can't be anyone else, right?
I mean,
Let's
Merrifield.
go
It's
with
not
Ozuna.
Merrifield.
Oh, it's
Oh,
Conforto.
it's Conforto. I
I
thought the
thought
average was too
Conforto had
low.
a higher
Oh
average.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. Sorry about that.
maybe another name that people might think, Conforto. But
Yeah.
we're gonna try to convince him, Joe. Why is he in the top 15?
Well, this guy's underrated. I'm sorry. He can hit a baseball, and playing for the Mets, you don't always have a good surrounding cast. You know, I just feel that, like, when you think about a list like this, he just probably has to join it. And man, the average is low though. I will say that. I really thought he had a higher average. I was going to give him like a 280 to 285 average.
He's hitting
Um,
230 this year, so that might be
that's
part of the
great. That's
problem.
great. That's great.
He
Well,
he hit 322 last year.
he's on the 10-day DL, by the way. Everybody else is also. He's from Seattle, Washington. He was drafted by the Mets in the first round, 10th pick in the 14 MLB draft from Oregon State University in Corvallis, Oregon. Conforto, again, Derek, this is another guy I see a lot. And again, your father would have
Yeah.
probably, I'm sure he likes him. He's one of these guys that it looks like he struck out a lot more. Even though in 19 he struck out 149 times, that's a lot of times. All right, he walks a lot though. His home runs are a lot, 33, 92 in the RBI department.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm not saying I can defend this till I'm blue in the face, but he's a pretty good hitter. I mean, he's still a good guy in the middle of the order with Alonso and McNeil and the cast of characters they have with now Lindor. Well, I don't know where he's at, but must be just struggling to change leagues. But Conforto is just that very Derek. He's like Brantley. You plug him in, you know what you got. He's gonna get right. Isn't that the best way you say about him? Like, that's how I feel about Michael Conforto. He's like an appetizer. He's not the entree, but he's the appetizer.
No, he's not. He's not top 10, and I don't have him in the top 10. But you look at his 162 game average. It's 29 homers, 86 RBIs, a couple stolen bases, hitting 258, which I think is only going to go up. He seemed to find his stride in 2020 when he hit 322. But 27 homers 2017, 28 in 2018, 33 in 2019. So Joe, I think he is building up to be one of the best hitters in the AL East. I mean,
NL East.
The NL East, excuse me. Yeah,
I know what you meant.
He not on the top tier. I truly think that like the top 7 guys are way above the rest. But Conforto, I think, is a very solid presence. And I have Conforto. Did you say where you have him?
Sorry, I have him at number 14.
I have him at number 12, slightly above a couple of these other guys. which brings us down to 2 more to go with
Oh,
Joe,
this
and
should
I
be
think it'll
easy,
be
Derek.
pretty obvious. But go ahead through the first one.
All right. Okay. This blind resume, 236 games. It bats at 896. Runs scored 138. The average is 259. On base percentage is 346. Home runs at 54. RBIs at 170 and stolen bases at 12. Derek,
And that
I
is, we'll
think
say it
this is
together, Marcell
Marcel
Ozuna. Yeah.
Ozuna.
Yes,
It's got
absolutely.
to be him. It
He
screams
was,
him.
and there it is, Marcell Ozuna. Um, he now, is he a DH? Yeah, technically, but he's been playing on only NL teams throughout his entire career. He is a horrible
Yeah.
outfielder, but yeah, that's where he plays. So for Atlanta last year in a shortened season, he had 18 homers and 56 RBIs. Joe, that would be upwards of maybe around 50 home runs if he kept on that
Right.
pace.
Right.
In Atlanta, he's been a great addition behind. Obviously, you have a Acuna Jr. there, and Ozzy Albies up top, and then you have the lefty and righty duo of Freeman and Ozuna. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just another bopper, Joe. Tons of home
Yep.
runs.
Yep.
Averages 27 per season, 97 RBIs. What do you got on Ozuna?
Another guy I wish not to really see too much, but I see him all the time. Um, 30 years old. And Derek, this is like our third guy from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
Hmm.
He was he made his debut at 22 years old. It's weird. It doesn't say when he was drafted. I guess could it be because he's from Dominican Republic? Well, it doesn't matter. He actually played with the Miami Marlins because that's where he started his career. He played with them for it looks like 5 years, 5 seasons. Yeah. Then St. Louis for 2, or yeah, 2 in Atlanta now for the last 2. Marcell Ozuna is very easily described as a professional hitter. He takes pitches. He's kind of aggressive, though. At times, he'll go after that 0-1 fastball or even 1-1 good pitch, maybe breaking ball. He's just a good hitter, and he's a bad ball hitter. He can go out there like a Vlad Guerrero and crush the ball when it's not a good pitch. He's scary in the middle of the lineup. And the one thing I was thinking about, if Freddie Freeman, who's a free agent at the end of the year, doesn't sign with Atlanta, you almost think that Ozuna would go to first base. I don't think that's going to happen, but Freeman probably stays in Atlanta. That would be a joyful experience for me if he doesn't sign. But no, Ozuna's just a very good hitter. I got him at 8, actually, Derek. I put him right before Bryce.
Wow.
Yeah, put him at 8. I like his bat. Derek, he's an awful outfielder. There might not be a worse outfielder in the major leagues than Marcell Ozuna.
Kyle Schwarber.
He's pretty bad too, Derek. That's a great point, actually. Yeah, so I like Ozuna. I do. I got him in the top 10.
I think the only reason I bumped him down a little bit is because he can't play defense, and that hurts teams. Unfortunately, he signed through 2024. They signed him to 4 years. So, and the 2025 team option, which he will be around 34, so they may still keep him on. But yeah, I really like Ozuna as a player. He can really hack, that's for sure. But 2-time All-Star. A gold glove? Wow, I did not know he had a gold glove.
Maybe when in his first year.
Yeah, well, 2017, not too long ago. But wow, I did not know that.
Fairness to him, he can't run. He just can't run.
Yeah.
He has no wheels.
Well, I have Ozuna as number 10. A little bit lower than those guys, the Judges, the Harpers, the Springers for me, but
no, he's not,
which will bring us to our last blind resume. And remember, Joe, I said around 270 games is perfect.
Oh my gosh.
266 games at bats, 1,097. Runs 170, average 290, on base percentage 339, home runs 29, RBIs 128, and stolen bases 45. Joe, this is one Whit
Whit
Merrifield,
Merrifield.
who
Yes.
is plays a little second base, plays a little center field,
Center
plays a
field.
little
Yeah,
right
right
field,
field. Yeah.
but he's not an amazing defender anywhere, so that's not really where he lives. But Joe, actually, he's perfect so far.
Oh my
162
gosh.
games in 2019, 60
Are you kidding me?
games in 2020, and 45 so far in the season for Kansas City. He has not missed a game since 2018. And that's why you see a lot of these counting stats as so high, the at bats, the runs, because he is out there very consistently. And that is something I want out of a player. If I know he's out
Yeah.
there, I know what he's given me. That's key for
Right.
me, Joe.
Yeah, and baseball reference failed me again, so I'll just go off the top of my head. But Whit Merrifield is a guy that plays great defense. We said that he hits pretty well. He's a good average guy, good contact guy. He has some pop, not a lot, but Derek, he stole 45 bases in 2.5 seasons. Like that's amazing. Um, I look at the at bats, 1,097. Are you kidding me? Like the guy's
Yeah.
always in the lineup. It shows us he plays out of 266 out of 270 games. The Cubs were after him 2 off seasons ago. I don't think he spends the rest of his career in Chicago, in Kansas City, but it's going to take a bunch to get him because he's very, very. The Phillies have been after him. I know they have talked to the Royals about because they have no idea what they have in Scott Kingery, and over the last couple of years, that's who he's been. He's been that Swiss Army knife, but he's very talented, and I don't know too much about him. I'll be honest, but I do know that he's a very, very, very durable baseball player, and
Yeah.
they come a dime a dozen sometimes, that. So I had him at I actually had him at number 13 though
Okay. Yeah.
on our
And
list.
he's even slowed down in stolen bases a little bit. He had 34 in 2017, 45 in 2018. He's only had 2012, although he has 13 this year already. So that is bodes well for high numbers in that category. But yeah, great consistent hitter, 292 average in his career, and he's going to steal bases. That's something I really like out of a corner outfielder. Number
Yeah.
11, I actually put him at
Oh,
is
okay.
Whit Merrifield. Before Joe, well, let me stop sharing here. Before we run through our top 15 total,
Mm,
I just wanted to bring up a couple names we left off the list.
right.
I know Eloy Jimenez was one of them. Hasn't quite played too enough, and he's not a very good defensive outfielder. Kind of Ozuna like,
Sure.
I guess you could say. So, but he has a
Yeah.
ton of home run power. Another guy, even on the White Sox, Luis Robert, who they say could be a 30-30. But he only played one. He played half of a season last year, so I don't think we
Right.
felt comfortable putting him on. Michael Yastrzemski, another one. Kind of a late bloomer there in San Francisco, but the numbers, a very good average hitter, but not much else. Doubles. Was there any other names that we barely left off, Joe? What were the other ones?
We talked about Joey Gallo, a good home run guy, but he strikes out a ton.
That's
And
about it.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how he is. Alex Verdugo, the young guy from Boston from the Mookie Betts
Mm-hmm.
deal
Yep.
he was a Dodger prospect. He's going to be good. He's a good player. He's just not there yet. He would just be one of the guys I would say has to be in the next 4 to 5 years, has to really
Mm-hmm.
hit a lot, and realize his potential because he's a very good young player. Other than that, I don't think I mentioned like a Dylan Carlson because he's pretty young too, I think, but there's not, there's those guys out there. But other than that, I don't think anybody really deserves to be talked about here in timeout, Derek and Joe, unless you're putting up numbers.
Well, if there were any names we didn't mention that were not on our top 15 list that we're going to run through in just a second, please let us know. But Joe, do you want to run through 15-1 in your top outfielders?
I can do it. Then I'm going to need a drink. Okay. Number 15, Starling Marte, center fielder from the Miami Marlins. Number 14, Michael Conforto, right fielder from the New York Mets. Number 13, Whit Merrifield, do it all everywhere, Kansas City Royals. Number 12, Charlie Blackmon, right fielder, Colorado Rockies. Number 11, Michael Brantley, Houston, right fielder or left
I think
fielder,
he's
actually.
left, yeah.
Sorry. No, yeah, left. Number 10, Aaron Judge, New York Yankee, right fielder. Number 8, or I'm sorry, number 9, Philadelphia Phillies, Bryce Harper, right field. Number 8, Atlanta Braves outfielder, but as we said, can't play defense, Marcell Ozuna. Number 7, outfielder from the Toronto Blue Jays, George Springer. Number 6, from the Los Angeles Dodgers, outfielder Cody Bellinger. Number 5, for the Milwaukee Brewers, left fielder Christian Yelich. Number 4, from the LA Dodgers, right fielder Mookie Betts. Number 3, from the Atlanta Braves, and I'm still upset with myself. I put him in number 3, Ronald Acuna Jr. Number 2, from the Washington Nationals, left fielder Juan Soto. And number 1, the best outfielder of our generation, center fielder from the Anaheim Los Angeles Angels, Mike Trout. Do you need a drink, Derek?
Number 15 for me is Michael Brantley from Houston. Number 14, Starling Marte from Miami. Number 13, Charlie Blackmon, Colorado. Number 12, Michael Conforto, New York Mets. Number 11, Whit Merrifield, Kansas City. Number 10, Marcelo Zuna, Atlanta. Number 9, Aaron Judge, New York Yankees. Number 8, George Springer, Toronto. Number 7, Bryce Harper. I'm higher on Bryce Harper than Joe is. Bryce Harper, Philadelphia. Number 6, Christian Yelich, Milwaukee. Number 5, Cody Bellinger, Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 4, Juan Soto, Washington. Number 3, Ronald Acuna Jr., Atlanta. Number 2, Mookie Betts in LA Dodgers. And number 1, Mike Trout for the Los Angeles Angels. Well, that'll do it. Our top 15 list of outfielders. Joe, we've gone all around the diamond. If you missed any of them, please feel free to go out and watch them. Top 5 pitchers, starting pitchers, relief pitchers, catchers, all around. There's a specific playlist out there. Actually, if one day you just want to go click on the playlist, it'll play them all in a row for you. But that was our top 15 current outfielders in Major League Baseball. And we have to get our final thoughts from Joe.
Well, first of all, I want to say that when you do watch our show, and Derek always usually puts them up a day or two after, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel, Timeout Derek and Joe. Also, when you like for this one, since you're seeing the resumes and you'll be able to see graphics too, which thank you to Derek and Lindsay for that. You got to go and you got to give your opinions in your comments because we want to hear what you have to say. We're always taking ideas or just to tell us what you thought about our show. And also that we can improve on what we do. But I thought this was a wonderful show. I enjoyed talking about these outfielders. Me and Derek had a good time deciphering and a little bit of debating. No arguing. We debate. We don't argue.
Yes.
And yes, and just we'll be back later in the week with another one. But thank you for all the support. Keep on, seriously, it helps us so much. And Derek reminds me of it when I tell people, including my family, to share, because it helps us. It's going to end up helping us tremendously as we continue to do these. And as I always say, we're not going anywhere, folks. So keep on listening. I hope you're entertained. And Derek, back to you. And thanks.
You know the drill, everybody. Subscribe while you're out there on YouTube and listening to us out there. If you're watching on all or listening on all podcast platforms, we appreciate it very much. Continue to listen. And for those who want to listen, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, many more. Wherever you listen to your podcasts, we're out there. Follow us on our Facebook group, our Twitter page, and you can always email us timeoutderekandjoe@gmail.com. As always, everyone, thank you for taking time out of your day to spend some time with us. Stay safe. Take care.